Hi, folks. My name is Brian Trippett, and I'm the Front Porch Conservative. On Saturdays, I do a live stream called Front Porch Brunch, which covers items that have been in the news recently. One of the items that has recently made the rounds, and is the subject of this video, is a back and forth between Dylan Mulvaney and Anheuser-Busch over what Dylan perceives to be a lack of support in the wake of the controversy that is the Bud Light boycott. So please take a listen and enjoy. My name is Brian Trippett. I am your Front Porch Conservative. Step on up to my electronic front porch and let's talk. One story that I want to bring up for Hodgepodge Stew before I get to the last thing that I really want to get in for this live stream is an update on the Bud Light boycott situation. Now, I'm not even going to bother going back to the origins of this thing, except to say this. Anheuser-Busch enters into a marketing contract with trans activist Dylan Mulvaney. Well, Dylan, ever since all this went down on April 1st, has been extraordinarily quiet until now. This week, it has reached the point where Dylan Mulvaney is pointing fingers at Anheuser-Busch. Anheuser-Busch is pointing fingers back at Dylan Mulvaney. They're trading comments in the press and on social media, and I am here for it because I think it is glorious. So Dylan Mulvaney went out on Instagram and posted a 4-minute video. I want to play parts of it because I've got various things to say about this, and I want to get y'all's take on some of this because some of this is really interesting. So let me get this thing pulled up real fast. And I'm going to stop this at various points because I want to bring in comments about this. So Dylan Mulvaney posts a video on Instagram, and it goes something like this.
Hi.
And the obligatory sip of beer to show that they're, really a beer drinker.
One thing I will not tolerate people saying about me is that I don't like beer because I love beer and I always have. I built my platform on being honest with you, and what I'm about to tell you might sound like old news, but you know that feeling when you have something uncomfy like sitting on your chest? Well, that's how I feel right now. So this feels like the right thing to do. I took a brand deal with a company that I loved, and I posted a sponsored video to my page. And it must have been a slow news week because the way that this ad got blown up, you would have thought I was like on a billboard or on a TV commercial or something major. But no, it was just an Instagram video. And the wildest part is that they also sent me one can with my face on it. You might have seen it. And funny story, I had the can around my house, but then I realized, wait, I need to protect this can. So I hid it somewhere, and now I can't find it because I hid it so well. But when I do find it, I feel like it needs to go in a museum, preferably behind bulletproof glass.
Okay, Dylan, you only need to put that can behind bulletproof glass if Kid Rock is hanging around the museum somewhere, okay? Short of that, I don't really think people are going to get that cranky about it, but okay, I digress. Let's get back to the video. Because the next set of comments get really interesting.
And you might be thinking, Dylan, why bring it up now? I'm bringing it up because what transpired from that video was more bullying and transphobia than I could have ever imagined.
Hold it. I have a question. How is the reaction of the beer drinking public hate or phobia or whatever, or bullying, which I'll explain that point here in just a second, but I just want to put that out there for the start. So getting back to Dylan's little missive here.
And I should have made this video months ago, but I didn't. And I was scared, and I was scared of more backlash, and I felt personally guilty for what transpired. So I patiently waited for things to get better. But surprise, they haven't really.
Oh, truer words were never spoken than that comment. But we continue.
And I was waiting for the brand to reach out to me, but they never did.
Whoa, 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 whoa. Hold up. Wait a minute. This is what I was getting ready to get to. Now, I want everybody to think about this for a second, because this has been going on now for 3 months as of yesterday. Okay. This all started on April the 1st. Now, for those of you maybe that don't remember how this went down, Anheuser-Busch enters into a market agreement, Dylan Mulvaney, vis-a-vis their vice president of marketing, this Allison Heinerschneid, who wants to modernize the marketing of Bud Light because it's gotten stale and fratty in her opinion, and we need to make it more inclusive and all that. So they go out, they hire Dylan Mulvaney. Okay. I don't think it's the smartest move in the world, but all right, they've got the right to do it. It's their company. Dylan does the ad. One ad, by the way. And on that point is actually true. But apparently, according to Dylan Mulvaney, Anheuser-Busch left Dylan hanging out to dry. Not a word from them to Dylan, according to Dylan. So let's continue this.
And for months now, I've been scared to leave my house. I have been ridiculed in public. I've been followed. And I have felt a loneliness that I wouldn't wish on anyone. And I'm not telling you this because I want your pity. I am telling you this because if this is my experience from a very privileged perspective, know that it is much, much worse for other trans people.
Hold on, Dylan. Nobody's got a problem with trans people. We may not agree with your choices, may not agree with your lifestyle decisions, may not agree with everything else, but no one's got a problem with trans people. So just tread carefully here. You've been doing fine up to this point, but you're about to make a mistake. But go ahead.
For a company to hire a trans person and then not publicly stand by them is worse, in my opinion, than not hiring a trans person at all.
Okay, I'm going to say something here. I absolutely agree with Dylan Mulvaney. Hey, but Anheuser-Busch, you hired Dylan, you got the backlash for it, and you left Dylan Mulvaney hanging out to dry. Okay, now let me say, what I don't really need to say, but I'm going to say it anyway. Nobody should be bullied. Okay, nobody should be. Okay, and yet I get it. I get it. I absolutely. I don't say you're wrong, Robert. I don't disagree with you. And I'm not necessarily saying I feel sorry for Dylan Mulvaney, but I'll say this. Dylan's absolutely right. If Anheuser-Busch is going to hire Dylan Mulvaney to do a marketing thing for them and gets this kind of blowback, you ought to be trying to do something to back your people. Now, granted, it's a contract relationship. Strictly speaking, Dylan Mulvaney is not an employee of Anheuser-Busch, but you hired Dylan to do something for you. You ought to have their back. But let's continue with the video.
Because it gives customers permission to be as transphobic and hateful as they want. And the hate doesn't end with me. It has serious and grave consequences for the rest of our community. And we're customers too. I know a lot of trans and queer people who love beer. And I have some lesbian friends who could drink some of those haters under the table.
And Dylan's not wrong on that. I know some lesbians that can absolutely drink people under the table. They could drink me under the table.
But to turn a blind eye and pretend everything is okay, it just isn't an option right now. And you might say, but Dylan, I don't want to get political. Babe, supporting trans people, it shouldn't be political.
Hold it right there. Hold it. Dylan, that's the problem with the whole thing. We didn't want it to turn political either. All we wanted to do was just, drink a beer on a hot summer day, or drink a beer at a baseball game, or drink a beer with our friends or whatever. We didn't want this to turn political. Okay? This is not about the whole trans issue. In large part, this is about our anger with a manufacturer who took the dive into the political end of the swimming pool when they didn't need to. All they need to do is make a product that people want to buy and enjoy and leave the politics out of it. I mean, look, I think I can speak safely for millions of people, Dylan. Okay? I can speak safely for millions. We just want to enjoy what we enjoy. We don't want messaging jammed down our throat. If we want to get into a discussion of whether trans people are right or wrong, or whether we want, Pride Month to take place, or what things we want to see during Pride Month, we can have that discussion anywhere, anytime, any place. We don't need it shoved down our throats watching a beer commercial on TV. You're talking about you don't want it political? We don't want it political. That's our beef with Anheuser-Busch. That's the problem here. So no, we don't want the politics either, but you think the politics are directed toward you and the trans community. On that point, I think you're trying to be a little bit of a martyr. I'm not saying you're not getting hate from people. I get that. Okay? And no, I don't agree with bullying in any form whatsoever. But disagreement with you because, you're trans, that's not necessarily bullying. That's just disagreement. The larger point is we don't want the politics either. We never wanted the politics to begin with. Okay? We just want to drink beer and have fun, like everybody. If you want to drink beer if you enjoy beer, great. Happy for you. But why are you ramming trans and LGBT messaging down my throat through a beer commercial? I don't need that. I don't want it. Neither does anybody else, be it here in the United States or around the world. Now, the upshot of all my ranting is that Dylan Mulvaney is accusing Bud Light, or more particularly Anheuser-Busch, of hanging Dylan Mulvaney out to dry. Well, as you might expect, Anheuser-Busch did not take kindly to this accusation, which leads to our next article from the Daily Beast. Headline: Dylan Mulvaney lays into Anheuser-Busch for abandoning her to, quote, right-wing mob. Now, keep in mind, the Daily Beast is a little bit of a lefty organization. But I want to read you Anheuser-Busch's response to this, okay? Let me find it here real fast. Here we go. An Anheuser-Busch spokesperson told the Daily Beast in a statement that the company remains, quote, committed to the programs and partnerships we have forged over decades with organizations across a number of communities, including those in the LGBTQ plus community. The statement did not, however, mention Mulvaney. The privacy and safety of our employees and our partners is always on our top priority. As we move forward, we will focus on what we do best, brewing great beer for everyone and earning our place in moments that matter to our customers. And yeah, I'm going to pull this comment up because Leah, I was thinking about you as you're out there on the boat. You're probably having a brewski or two, hopefully. It's political because one side wants to celebrate how someone has sex. The other side just wants you to go about living your life and leave us alone. You got it. There is one of the rubs in this whole argument. I mean, myself, people watching this live stream right now, people, watching this later on at some point today, they just want to live their lives. They want to be with their husband. They want to be with their wife. They want to be with their boyfriend, their girlfriend, their kids, their family members. They want to get together this weekend and early next week for cookouts. They want to go watch fireworks. They just want to live their lives in peace. Yes, they know they're going to have to give opinions about politics if it's asked of them. But politics is not the sum of their lives. Or who or how they have sex with someone is not the sum of their lives. Unless, of course, you're a hooker, and I can understand that might be pertinent. But laying aside the fact that you're a hooker or a gigolo, how you have sex and who you have it with, is not necessarily the sole sum total of your life. People just want to be people. They want to live in peace. They don't want something rammed down their throats. They want to go to an LA Dodgers game, and they don't want to have, the Sisters of Perpetual Indulgence be awarded an LGBTQ plus thing during the ball game. They just want to watch a Dodgers game. But more and more in our society, this is what's happening. Now, with regard to Anheuser-Busch's response, God bless it. Oh, man. There is no good way for Anheuser-Busch to get out of this now. I mean, I've thought even up to now they might have still had an escape ramp. It ain't happening. It's not happening at all. And it's of their own making, because now, truly, the leadership at Anheuser-Busch is caught right in the middle. There's no good way for them to do this. As a matter of fact, if I'm going to keep talking, try and find something real fast on Twitter. And because this, to me, truly is indicative of how bad things are going for them. It's not going to let me pull it up. Doggone it. Thought I had it, and I'm not going to be able to find it. But basically, the CEO of Anheuser-Busch goes on CBS this morning, and the reporter's talking about, asks the CEO, where are you guys at? We gives an answer, and the reporter for CBS this morning does something very rare, and he pushed back and said, well, your answer is just kind of indicative. It seems like you can't come down on either side of this issue, and that's the problem now for Anheuser-Busch. They are so stuck in the middle of this, there's no getting out of it. If they do go apologize to their existing base of customers that they've had for decades, the LGBTQ community is just going to eat them alive from one side. If they don't apologize, the existing customer base that's been there for decades is going to eat them alive from the other side. They're stuck. There's no good getting around this. And, I just don't think this gets any better for them. And frankly, even if they did apologize, it ain't going to do any good. Because number one, no one's going to believe them. Because every time you turn around, you find more evidence of Anheuser-Busch's involvement in LGBTQ plus issues. Being the sponsor of this event somewhere, or giving a contribution to that organization, whatever. There's no getting around this. They're screwed. Screwed of their own making. Okay? So I just saw these two news articles this week, and I thought, that's kind of funny. I think we'll bring this up. If you like what I do here, please do me some favors. Number one, please give me a thumbs up on the video. Number two, leave a comment below. Number three, please subscribe to the channel. And number four, please share it around. I'll take all the help I can get. My name is Brian Trippett. I am your Front Porch Conservative, and I'll see you